Oh boy, do I have a really, really good episode for you today. This was in the newsletter. I think it was last week or the week before, and I got an amazing response. So many questions about it. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a podcast about it because it is a really, really important metric. Let's get straight into it. And the metric is the rate per square foot. What are you actually getting your rate per square foot? So many people don't work this out, or if they do, they work it out incorrectly. And incorrectly, in my point of view. I've spoken to lots of different people. Some people agree, some people don't agree. But this is how I work out. And I suppose as long as you're working something out the same way all the time, then you can compare and contrast. You can compare apples for apples. But if you start changing the way you work this data out, then it's obviously then you can't compare because it's apples to bananas. Right. So this is one of the biggest data points that I look at every single month. I really, really enjoy looking at it. And so it obviously is rate per square foot. And how we work it out is monthly revenue. And I'll give you an example here. Monthly, and I'm going to tell you every single rate per square foot that we're getting at each site and why it's good, why it's bad, and what we're doing to improve it. Right. So monthly revenue divided by occupied square foot, divided by occupied square foot, divided by the amount of days in the month. Times by 365, obviously leap year 366. And that equals your price per square foot. A lot of people, by the way, we used to do this as well. We didn't used to divide it by the days. So some months it was really, really good. And we were thinking, this is great. Other months would be really, really bad. And it depends on the amount of days in the month. So what we do is divide it down. So for example, this is in Beverley for January. We took £16,544 and we divided by the occupied square foot, which was 6,205, which meant it was 2.66. 2.66 divided by 31, because there's 31 days in January. Hopefully, obviously, I know I'm pulling out loads of stats here, but we'll get to the good stuff in a minute. I put divided by 31, I put in brackets here. Some people just multiply by 12 here, but that's not accurate. So then we need to times it by 365. And so that equals 31. So revenue divided by occupancy equals 2.66 for Beverley in January. 2.66 divided by 31, because it's 31 days in January, times by 365 to get the amount for the year. And so that means it's £31. Right. So we are getting, so that's Beverley. So in January, we're getting £31 per square foot for an outdoor site. That is bananas. We're doing a site in Scotland, and I'm working out my projections at £9.75. And I was talking to somebody last week, and they was asking me about projections for a site and how I go about it. And it's very simple. I do worst case scenario because other container sites are hitting £9.75. I think £9.75 is based on £30 per week plus VAT. Could be wrong. I think it is. And so I always work out on that because that's what other container sites are doing. That doesn't take into consideration our revenue management, and we might be charging more as well because we're a better container site. And so all I can go on is what we're getting in Beverley. And don't get me wrong, please don't think that every outdoor site is going to get £31 because it just won't. The reason why Beverley does do £31 is because we've got smaller size units. We've got 35 square foot, we've got 50 square foot, we've got 75 square foot, and we've got the bigger ones. So the smaller units, the higher rate per square foot you generally get. And also these containers, these are ply lined, they've got insulation in the walls, they've got electric roller shutters, they've got lights. They are like literally that we won the UK outdoor storage site of the year 2 years ago. We came runners up last year, and so they are nice. I'm not trying to brag, honestly. They are very, very nice, and so that is why we get £31 per square foot. Right, so that's Beverley. Where else are we getting? Let's have a look. At Beverley, we're getting £31 per square foot. I put that's amazing for an outdoor site, very incredible units. So yeah, we've been through that. Willoughby, as it happens, we are getting exactly the same, £31 per square foot. Now, you might think that, wait a second, you're getting £31 per square foot for an outdoor site, and you're only getting £31 for an indoor site. Yeah, that is true, but still, I'm happy with that. It's Beverley's an affluent area. Excuse me. Willoughby and Beverley are both affluent areas. £31 per square foot. This, by the way, includes rent and insurance. So it includes the rent and insurance. So I've amalgamated both these two together. A lot of people don't. Story used to display it as amalgamated together, but people, I don't know if people complain, but people certainly have an issue with it. And so Story then looked at making sure they displayed it just with revenue, not taking into consideration insurance. I spoke to Gavin about that. I don't know if he's done it or not, but I think he's going to include, you can either have it amalgamated together, or you can have it just a revenue. When the Self Storage Association come out with their yearly report, they only have revenue. And I don't quite understand why they only have revenue, because rental revenue. But surely insurance is part of that as well. So I like to put them both together, because ultimately it's what revenue I'm getting. I don't care what revenue I'm getting just on revenue, just from the rent. I want to know rent and insurance. So I include both anyway. I think that's the best way to do it. So Willoughby is £31 per square foot. I don't think that's bad at all around our area. I think that's okay. We're in Hull. £31 per square foot is okay. Mansfield, I'll tell you what, I'll do Mansfield at the end, because Mansfield's our newest site. Wrexham, we're getting £21.80 per square foot. Now, the reason is here that when we took it over, they hadn't had price increases for a long period. Well, never. They've never had a price increase, 15 years. And so we had to obviously make sure that people were paying the correct amount. And we've introduced 16 containers, and I believe, or 18 containers, and I believe we are only charging £9.50 per square foot. So obviously the indoor part of it is going to be charging a higher amount than that, but the outdoor dilutes it, because we're only getting £9.50 there. So when you amalgamate the two together, it's £21.80. I don't think that's too bad. Ultimately, yes, do I want it to be higher? But I think the majority of our square footage is going to be containers there at Wrexham. So £21.80, I don't think that's too bad for rent and insurance. What are my notes I put here? This is a lot better than when we first took over. Again, this will continue to improve. I think it'll steady around about £25 per square foot. Clough Road, we're getting £26.55 at Clough Road. But to be honest, given the location and demographics of this area, I don't think that's too bad. I put here, we are actually exceeding expectations in price per square foot. I didn't think we'd get as high as that, £26.55. And we have got 10 containers there, and the containers are quite high, the price, compared to the other competitors around there. However, we have the better... Sorry. I believe we have the better containers around that area and the better location, so we can charge a little bit more. People will pay for convenience, and so because of the position, I think we get away with charging more there. What else have we got here? We are actually exceeding expectations. Yep, we need to focus on the occupancy in the current months. Yeah, so at the minute, Clough Road is under 70% full, and so we do need to start focusing on occupancy. So the rate per square foot here might decrease slightly. Now, Mansfield, we all know Mansfield is absolutely tearing it up with the rate, with the occupancy. Really, really good. Over 11,500 square foot at Mansfield. Really chuffed with that. However, the rate per square foot we are currently getting is £9.75. Now, before you go, what? We've got an offer on them. We've got 12 weeks half price for most units. We've dropped that now to 8 weeks half price for a lot of units, and 4 weeks half price. So we are changing things slightly, but the focus when we first opened was all about occupancy. Now, about £9.75, most of the people in the building will have come when there's an offer. So most of the people are in the offer stage. This will dramatically increase, because obviously half price, if we're in the half price offer, that means that £9.75 should be really £19.50. So it's not a true reflection. So yes, at the minute it's very, very low, but it's not a true reflection because most people are in the half price offer. We've focused on occupancy, so we did want to be the cheapest around, and now we're just turning the dial up a little bit. We're increasing prices because we've got the occupancy, and people are going to start paying a higher rental because the half price offer is finishing. So that £9.75, you will see it dramatically increase and improve over the coming months. And I'm really, really excited to see what we can do, because Dave Davies asked me a question. He said, is Mansfield good because it's good and you're good and it's a good location, everything's correct, or is it good because you're really cheap? And I was like, great question. And we can only guess, but we don't know the answers. I think that it probably is because we're cheap. Obviously, I think it's had an impact. But I'm okay with that because that was a strategy. It was to be achieved. And by the way, my course has come out Friday. I run through the whole strategy of the pricing structure of what we did. It's one of the bonuses, how we did it, the exact strategy down to a T, what we done. And I'll tell you about how we're changing things as well, because we've far exceeded our projections. And when you get to a certain level square foot, then you change your strategy a little bit. And that's what we're doing now. We're changing the strategy, and we are going to we've already increased the prices for the street rate, and where obviously people half price offers are going to be finishing. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. I think that Mansfield eventually will be about £30 per square foot. It's crazy. Mansfield, the self-storage seems to be quite dear. And so, yeah, I think it'll be over £30. In the first year, I don't think we'll get there. I think we'll get in the first year, I think that towards the end of the first year, I think we'll be around about £20 per square foot. And the following year, I believe it'll be, depending on occupancy, how well we're doing, I think, yeah, it'll be getting up to £30 per square foot. All right, my friends. So that is it. I've really enjoyed this episode. I love looking at this sort of data. I think that we should focus on the rate per square foot, because if you don't know your rate per square foot, then I don't know, how can you know if you're improving? Your projections are all focused around rate per square foot as well. So I think it's a really, really awesome metrics. All right, my friends, I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.